We've got a pretty good turnout already, so thanks for burning up a little bit of your summer to be with us today. And as we get ready for the new season, for the fall season, we have a little bit of a runway before we get there. And we've got some great content to jump into. Let me just introduce a few things, though. There's been a bunch of changes that we wanted to get you guys familiar with. The league's gone through a lot over the last 6 months to a year. And so we appreciate you guys sticking with us as we work through a lot of the challenges that have surfaced and get this in a spot to where we continue to offer awesome soccer experiences for our youth in this area, because that's ultimately what it's all about. So we've got some new energy, new blood into the board. We've expanded it. Things have changed. Eric Kirkendall has stepped down as of the AGM, just post the AGM, our last board meeting. He stepped down as the president. Him and his family are moving, in the process of moving actually this weekend. And so I'm as the executive VP, I'm stepping in. The board has appointed me as the interim president to run the league until, per the bylaws, till the next AGM, which is not till next year. So you got me maybe for a year. But we, like I said, we've got some awesome blood here in the new blood in the organization. And I'll just start from the top there. Noreen, where's Noreen?
She's in Iowa.
Oh yeah, she's in Iowa. Okay. Yeah, so many of you guys have seen Noreen. She's been a staple with Wylie Soccer for quite some time, and so she's stepped in with me being the interim president. She stepped in as the interim EVP, and then she's also the treasurer as of the last annual general meeting, just like a month and a half or two ago. So so a lot of changes with that, and I know we touched on it for those that were able to attend. I know we had a lighter crowd for that general meeting last time, but just to briefly touch on it is, with everything in the news and everything that went on from a treasurer role perspective, there's a ton more accountability happening, very necessarily happening with the way that we manage the funds of the program. And so Noreen, she's engaged a firm, Fulford and Associates, and they're actually handling the bookkeeping with multiple audit points between them and members of the board, including myself, Noreen, and other board members. And so, anyways, every month we're gonna have very transparent financials. That's going to be available to anybody who wants to see that, just from a reporting perspective. And then again, good accountability, good oversight going forward on that. So feel good about where that's headed from a direction perspective. And then let's see. And then so we've got also Scott Hevel. He's joining us. He's again been a staple. You guys have probably seen him running around, making good calls, maybe some questionable calls at times on the field. So he's been an awesome ref with the league, and he also participates, if you don't mind me saying, right, with the city, the Parks and Rec portion of Wylie as well. So we appreciate his service and him joining us, and he'll be a huge asset to the league going forward. The VP of Recreational is Casey Gibson. So you'll hear mostly from him today. He's going to go through the content for the coaches meeting as well. And again, he's been a staple on the sidelines and actually a participant with the board in more of like an informal fashion in the past, or were you actually officially an age commissioner or anything? Yeah. So always passionate about giving back and serving, and the opportunity was obviously very right for him to come in, and you'll see a lot of the great things that he's already bringing to the league, things that you guys have probably been begging for quite some time, and so a lot of that's going to come to pass now. And then secretary, do we have Beatrice? Is she not here? Okay, so Beatrice is not here as well, so we'd like to excuse her and Noreen. And then so she's the secretary for the league. Christine Eustice, who you guys know and love, she's part of she's been part of the board, right? So she's a continuation. She hasn't given up on us yet. No, she's been awesome. She's actually been a lot of the heart and blood of just keeping things together and cohesive through the thick and thin. So really appreciate it. Yep. Director of coaching, Don Folsom. Again, he's been part of Wylie Soccer for many years. I remember coaching against him it's kind of my first intro, and we always had some competitive matches. And he's definitely a competitor. He's jumping in as director of coaching. He's done a lot of coaching within WYSA and then outside as well. He's held skills training and really has a lot of solid background with soccer and so he's got some great vision to get the training out to coaches that need it and some great things he's going to offer from coaching as well as a skills training perspective for the kids. So looking forward to that, to having him engaged. So thank you, Don, as well for joining. You guys know Caroline. She's been our awesome administrator and continues to carry that role as well as the registration hat. So she's always juggling a ton, and we appreciate her and all she's doing for the league. Having an expanded board should help take some of the load that she's had to carry as well off and distribute much of that. So there are additional open positions, and I did skip John. Sorry, John, director of minors. So John Walker is also joining us, and so he started. He's been a coach within WYSA, and he actually last season started kind of easing himself into some of the board responsibilities and helping with a lot of the collecting of game sheets, reviewing game sheets, and monitoring fields and such. And so, just really has a servant's heart, and we're excited to have him on the board. So thanks for joining us, John. And then there are some additional positions: director of majors, director of facilities, director of services. My goal as interim president is to expand the board. I mean, it's been honestly whittled down to a point where it's just been a handful of us, a few of us trying to keep things going. We want communications to be better. We want transparency to be better. We want this to, again, just be an awesome experience for our youth in this area to be able to thrive with soccer, right? In whatever form or fashion they want to see it, we want to be able to offer it. And so, anyways, if you have interest to join in one of these positions, definitely talk to me. We have some folks in mind for them, so we should be able to move to get these ones filled. There's also other opportunities to serve on the board or close to the board and really help soccer in this area through committees and just different opportunities that you'll hear about here in a little bit as well. So let's see. With that, then, I guess I'll just open it real quick for any questions, and then I'm going to hand the meat of the time over to Casey, and he's got some slides, kind of generally for those that have been with us before, generally the same layout, just a few tweaks, few new things coming on this year as well. So, any quick questions before we jump into it, just related to kind of the structure of the organization? Okay. Really appreciate y'all being here. Seriously, I mean, this is what makes the league. You guys showing up, dedicating your time, your resources to helping those that you guys are coaching. We couldn't do it without you for sure. So, all right, great. With that, then I'll turn it over to KC.
All right. So we know the real reason why everyone's here for the door prizes. Ha ha ha. No, real quick, we have a lot of fun, great coaching tools up here. We have some WYSA gear as well. So throughout the meeting, we're going to go and issue a few of these door prizes. So we'll do one real quick. We have a wonderful spinning wheel of coaches here. All right, Kevin Hamilton. All right. So in addition to some of these open positions that we do have a number of committees as well. We're really trying to get some of those committees going as far as developing the league, planning forward, rules and regulations. There's all sorts of opportunities there. So as part of the check-in that you had, there was a box there to see if you're interested in volunteering. Based on your responses to that, we'll reach out and say, hey, what kind of time commitment are you interested in having? What are you interested in? Things like that. We're not looking for anything crazy. The rest of us will handle the crazy. But yeah, we really want to expand not just the footprint in Wylie, but get more people involved, get more input. We want to be here for you, allowing you to be there for us to really make this league expand, grow, and just be a great experience for our youth, obviously. So, all right, so let's dive in. So to that point, if you're interested in joining WYSA, if you did not click the box, but you are still interested, you can definitely reach out to us. You can send an email to wysa.admin@wyliesoccer.com. And that really is just a goal to help us improve what we're doing here. So if you are here today, I'm assuming most of you have already done this. You've already gotten onto GotSport.com. You've logged in. You've completed your background check and SafePort certification. You have uploaded a photo. We do the one of the big keys on the field is making sure you have your coach's ID. So we need to have a photo on there, make sure you are you. We need to make sure those IDs are visible when you're on the field. So make sure you have that ID, and also make sure it's not a photo from you in 2015, right? We want to make sure those photos are at least a few years old, just so we can make sure we're lining everything up out there. Once the rosters are released, I believe we've already sent out the email for the initial roster release, right? The roster preview, yes. But we want to make sure once those rosters are released that you find them, you know where to go on the website, and you can make sure that everything looks right as far as you can tell. And then obviously you can send some questions if you do run into anything that you see on that roster. So going forward with the coaches checklist preseason, so once you have that roster, you want to make sure you're contacting your players as soon as possible. Find a method of group communication. We actually have a new method that I'm going to talk about in upcoming slides. You want to get a team meeting schedule. That is a requirement from North Texas Soccer. You want to discuss practice days, expectations, things like that. You want to go ahead and start getting uniforms going, especially on the major side. You want to get uniform monies and things like that set up and we'll go over that more later. The minors, you only have to get those. The parents only have to get the socks and the shorts, and we'll talk about that. One thing that would be very helpful, and one thing I think we're going to try to push a little bit more for, is get yourself an assistant coach. We all have fall break. We all have things that happen. Having an assistant coach, even if it's just someone that keeps time, right? You have, you do have the 50% requirement on the field. Sometimes you need to keep up with that time. Sometimes you want to, shift people in and out. Having an assistant coach that can just sit there and be someone that has a badge that's on the sideline to help you out is a great idea. So when the coach's welcome letter comes out in a few weeks, the email that comes out, you'll find a form where you can submit and add either an assistant coach and or a team manager. Just, again, ask your parents for help. It doesn't require you to be able to, run drills or whatever. If maybe they have some soccer expertise from, years before, maybe they can help you out. It's good to just have someone out there. But do remember, any assistant coach or team manager will need to complete the same background check and SafePort certification. We want to make sure any person that is actively standing and coaching players is adhering to these policies that we have. That is a big deal, obviously, making sure that the person that's there, someone isn't volunteering that's then going to show up and not be someone that you want around your kids, right? That kind of stuff. Hopefully we all know parents. Hopefully it all works out. But we want to make sure we follow those rules. This is a big change that we have upcoming this season. So GotSport itself has produced an app that we as a league are going to start utilizing this coming fall. I've actually already gotten to be a guinea pig on the app. We're starting to utilize it. It is a free app on either Android or iPhone devices. All of the data that is in the app is the same database that's on GotSport.com. So you don't have to create a new profile. You don't have to do anything. If you as a coach or the parents have signed into GotSport, you're technically already on the app. We encourage both coaches and parents to use this app. I really wish I had the means to show you what I've got on the screen as far as the app goes. You have a page that's dedicated to league news. So the league can actually post things out there. The league can provide the updates on weather, things like that. As a coach, you can communicate with your team. You can communicate directly with your fellow coaches. You can schedule practices. You can keep up with attendance on those practices. Once you schedule a practice, the parents can then opt for what practice they want to be at or can be at. The league schedule will be automatically uploaded because, again, that's a GotSport function that's going to be integrated directly into the app. So as your games potentially get rained out or rescheduled or whatever, once that game gets rescheduled, it's in the app. So you don't have to sit there and go through your parents' communication. Hey, parents, this date changed or whatever. They can look at the app. It's all there. They can alert notifications when those notifications come. It's going to be a great tool to be able to really communicate with the league, but also communicate with your team. So there is a fee associated with each team, but WYSA is using the registration fees to cover that. So there's no charge to you. It's part of the registration fees. So it's as far as you're concerned, it's a free app for you to use. And like I said, the league will be able to send out communications on the app as well. So the league is going to be utilizing the app first when it comes to communications. We're not going to, not communicate otherwise via email and via Facebook, but we are going to be pro app because we think this is going to be a great tool for being able to work with you guys, and it's going to make your lives a little bit easier as well. So let's talk about uniforms real quick. For those minors age groups, you will be provided with a uniform. Hopefully all the parents selected shirt sizes and the coaches selected colors. I don't know if we're still doing that. I'm not in minors anymore, so I wasn't there to do all that. So you'll be provided with a jersey for the fall. In the spring, only a new jersey will be provided to new players or new teams, and you'll have to purchase the shorts and socks separately. Obviously, any of the sporting goods stores in the area you can go to be able to find that. For the majors coaches, so U9 and up, you do want to get those uniforms ordered. No sleeveless, no players' names on the back. And then home teams, you will want to have either pennies or alternate jerseys available in the event there's some type of color match or things like that. You just want to make sure you have that as an option available. I've also listed some various distributors here that we have that have not only we've used in the past, but we also had a annual conference that we went to a couple weeks ago. This is some of the vendors that were there. So these are just some options to look at as far as the different vendors that are out there that you can get uniforms from. Practice info. So North Texas does have rules on the amount of practice time that you can dedicate to your team. You're allowed 3 events per week. The maximum times here are listed up to, from 75 to 135 minutes. We want to make sure the ball size is correct. Sometimes parents are a little bit overzealous when they go out. They get the wrong ball size. Minors will be size 3, young majors size 4, and then plus 13 plus is size 5. We do suggest that you tell your parents to have their player get a ball the right size, bring that ball to practice. You don't want to be the coach that has to carry 20 balls to practice, because who wants to do that? I know I have 2, and that's almost too much for me. Socks and shin guards. The socks should cover the calf. Shin guards should be under the socks. And we do encourage you. Actually, is it policy that you should have them wearing at practice?
Shin guards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, not even an encouragement. It's a requirement that kids wear shin guards at practice. You don't want to be out there and all of a sudden you're dealing with you're breaking practice for an injury because the kid did not wear. So that's one thing, when you're communicating with your parents at that introduction meeting, make sure those kids have their shin guards on every practice. Obviously, shoes. Make sure the parents know no front cleat on their soccer cleats. I went as far as to go on like academy.com last year and send a picture to one parent of a cleat just so they knew what it looked like. You can wear tennis shoes, but obviously cleats are probably a little bit more useful out there. And then just some other options: goalie gloves. Obviously, when you're in the major leagues, we get goalies on the field. Goalie gloves, goalie jersey. You want to make sure that jersey does not match the same color as your uniforms. You want a distinction there. And then no jewelry. No jewelry for all players. Make sure they're aware of that. The referees do check for that, but we want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. Yes, sir. Make sure everybody has pennies so that right. If you get to a game with the color issue. Yeah, as far as pennies are concerned, pennies are just the throw-on mesh jerseys. Make sure that you can go to sporting goods stores and find them. Make sure they're a different color, right? If you're going to have a red jersey, make sure they're blue, whatever, that kind of thing. Okay, so for that's a majors problem. So obviously, if you're getting your own jerseys, you don't know what the rest of your league's getting. The minors will have their jersey colors separated, so there shouldn't be any same colors as far as the minors are concerned.
Although we have made a mistake in the past because we're human, but we provided pennies for those teams.
Related to colors, is there a way to let past other teams put their colors on the app or the website when we print out the roster? It helps them know.
So let's look at that, because I know that my colors are in there for my team and they haven't been right in several seasons. So I need to see what we can do as far as updating those colors.
So the way GotSport operates is I have a master registration, and then you're enrolled in ball and league, and so that is specific to that season. So I think you have to update it every season.
Okay.
So once I lock rosters, you can't edit anything, which happens pretty quick.
So we'll see what we can do about that. I'll look into it and just see what I can do, and if we don't want to put out some instructions just on like the Facebook page or something, we can see about trying to get get those updated. I don't even know that most teams know their colors right now anyway, necessarily. Right. So we'll look into that. We'll see what information we can get. Okay. So the next few slides are going to be slides that I have had a lot of feedback on. I'm a coach. I'm a new coach. We have 24 new teams in minors this year. Where do I go? Where do I practice? So I wanted to provide some quick updates on the parks around the area. Like Ben said at the beginning, we now have a Parks and Rec board member on the cruise. So now we get to dig a little bit more into the city and really try to see what we can do to help you guys out. I've been a coach for a number of years. I know what it's like to go, for a little while there, Founders was off limits because of the construction they did. So we had to go out and figure out where else to go. So let's talk real quick about the two main parks in the city, Community and Founders. On the screen here, you see the different color codes. Hopefully they're coming out. You can see them based on the weird colors on the screen here. But here at Community Park, there is a green space behind there's a building there, the rec building. Behind there's a big green space that you can use. It's not really, it's pretty well maintained as far as I can tell, but it is an area that you can use. The other spaces opposite the baseball fields that are down below where the splash pad is, those are all rental fields. So the city allows you to rent those fields. You can go onto the website here at wylietexas.gov, facilities, athletic complexes, and get more information about how to rent those, what those are. They're only available on certain days, things like that. But those fields are available when you do on those days. So you can look at that. As far as Founders is concerned, the big area that I have always used is the green area right here, just behind the parking lot of the football field. It's that big green space that they worked on a couple years ago. As well, so on this field, I'll go here and point at it. On this big field right here, the top half of that will be available for practices this year. The bottom half will not be. The bottom half here is all the football fields. This blue area is available for rentals. And then these are our fields over here on the red. They're not available for practice except for your one scheduled practice that we want to make sure you have on the game fields. Otherwise, they're not available for practices. Yeah, well, no. So the rentals that I'm talking about are through the city. That's not something WYSA keeps up with. So the website here at the top, the wylietexas.gov facilities, that's where you go to learn about rentals and to actually schedule those rentals. In addition, yes, sir, go ahead.
When you say that same statement again about, you said on all of WYSA's fields that those are available for practice only for...
So as part of the coaches meeting and making sure that we attracted more people to the coaches meeting, we did want to offer a 1-hour practice preseason on your game fields. So we're going to make sure that those fields are ready to go a few weeks ahead of time this year, hopefully. And then we're going to be reaching out to you as the coaches based on your sign-in information to say, hey, when would you like to schedule that practice? In addition, exactly. That's the goal, is to let you get out there, have a practice on your field. In addition, we will be doing a net, setting up the nets at one point in time. We're going to ask for volunteers. If you volunteer and show up to help us hang the nets, we are going to go ahead and offer a second practice if you show up to help us hang all the nets whenever we schedule that out. So, we're looking for volunteers, obviously, but we want to make sure we have those incentives as well. I know as well, having a practice on my game field will be very helpful. I think for the majors fields, we're going to make sure you're only going to have half of a field to make sure all the majors teams have plenty of room, because half of the field should give you should be able to get your practice out there and be able to do all the things like corner kicks and understand space and whatnot and the build out line. So that's going to be the goals for the majors. You'll be doing you'll only have half a field. Yes.
Practice fields, 2 and 3 on calendars.
Yes. So
I was going to suggest, and I've tried to do this in the past, but for y'all interested in ring the field, you should probably find like a second team to get with, and then go in and split the group of fields. Y'all are one interested in ringing the fields. Again, you only need like half of them. So split in minors, even less, but majors, only like half. You find another coach that you can work with, like a practice or split ring the field, and then like even practice, scrimmage at fields together.
and we'll talk about scrimmages here shortly as well. But yeah, the idea there is if you don't want to take up, so the blue area here on Founders on the west side near the apartments, those are 2 fields side by side, field 2 and 3 as far as the city is concerned. Yeah, you can split those up with another team if you want to share a rental and stuff like that. Okay, so in addition, if throughout Wylie there are other parks that are out there, I want to share some of those parks. So Dodd Park is at Country Club in Parker, right by Dodd Elementary School. Creekside Estate South, which is at Lewis Drive and Hennett Court. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. That's on the northwest side of Wylie. It's really near a water tower up there. All 4 of these parks, sorry, I wanted to say this before. All 4 of these parks have soccer goals available on them. Lakeside Estate Park, right at Springwell and Lakefield Drive, right over there across from where Floor and Decor is. And then Avalon Park is on the east side of Brown and Kramer. One thing I want to say about Avalon Park, I've heard a lot of stuff about how bad it is there. The city has no options as far as irrigating that field. The ground is owned by Encore because it is a utility plane. And Encore has said you can't put anything in the ground, you can't put permanent water on top. The only option we have is to drag hoses out there, water the ground, and then drag the hoses back. So in the heat of this summer that we're in right now, Avalon may be going right back to what it was before, to have craters, holes, digs. There's nothing we can do about that. We have tried. So I'm going to talk to the city in the future about the possibility of maybe moving those goals elsewhere to have a better spot for them, because there's nice goals when the fields are nice. In July when it rained a lot, those fields are in great shape. I don't think in the coming months they're going to be in that great of a shape. So we'll see what we can do about those fields as an option. In addition, parks with green space available. There's a park right off of Westgate, the Joel Scott Memorial Park, Friendship Park at Country Club in Quail Meadow, which is just north, Valentine Park over on the east side by Harrison Intermediate, and Wylie Lakes Park, which is on the north side, the northeast side, kind of tucked in that community above the railroads behind Walmart. If you can go to WylieTexas.gov parks to find a park to get more information. If you can see that, it has a list of every park in Wylie, all the green space, the facilities. You can look at that. And the big thing for me is I want to know if something's wrong. I want to know if a field is not good, if it's not cut, things like that. I want to provide feedback back to the city, to Parks and Rec, to see if we can get improvements done on parks. If you find an area that might be good, but if the city did a little bit more work, we can make it better. I kind of want to hear that feedback. I don't be shy about trying to let me know about what's going on, because I've been a coach for years. I know the struggles. I get it. I want to make sure that as a soccer product, you guys are able to provide for your teams, and that's going to make the whole situation better for our kids and our teams and stuff like that. Yes.
Speaking of feedback, this is a parks person here. Dodd is not in great shape.
So I did communicate that back. I think we need to escalate that. So Dodd is not. Yeah, I've practiced on Dodd as well. It's quite rocky.
Also, too, last season, cricket teams were starting to show up.
So that is. So I don't think there's much we can do about the cricket, because there is a cricket court there. It's very popular. But we can definitely go back to the city and start asking questions about what we can do. There's 4 full-size goals there. So, anybody driving up and down Country Club can see exactly what's there. So we can definitely talk to the city, see what we can do about that. Maybe we can put up some type of barrier or something like that for the cricket court. I've been out there when they're playing cricket as well, and I'm listening for the crack and waiting for that ball to come our direction. So I understand that completely. So, all right.
I know, I'm asking my wife. I know she said that the cricket people are supposed
Okay.
And they would frequently just show up whenever though.
So let's go. Well, we will go back to the city on that one. So I would say we're gonna work with the city to keep up with those rules and to enforce those rules.
The cricket field is only available Friday through Sunday.
Okay.
And so if it's any other day, they're not supposed to be available.
Okay. Yes.
I'm new, so I probably know this answer, but to schedule like on like a field like that, do I just show up? Or
Yes.
do I really-
So yeah, any of these fields are first come first serve. And like I said, these are not the only fields available. You can go look on the Wylie, Texas website for parks and see what other spaces are available. Maybe there's something closer to you. The one thing I will say, and I have to say this with a large disclaimer: schools. We cannot say you can go to any school and practice. If you're near a school, I know that the elementary school I'm nearby has soccer goals. Contact your school. Contact the school in your area. See what you can do about practicing there. That's up to the school and their policy. It's their green space. So we cannot suggest going to a school and practicing there. That's up to you to talk to your local school. But yeah, these are all first come, first serve places. The only places that have rentable space or space that are blocked off would be community and founders. All right, schedule conflicts. So every year, obviously something comes up, there's an issue. We are allowing you to send us one blackout date. We need to have that blackout date known to us by August 8th at 5 p.m. So if you can email WYSA admin at Wylie Soccer to let us know. Yes, Caroline.
There is going to be instructions when you get the welcome email that you go into GotSport and log that blackout request yourself, but you cannot do it until I enroll you in the fall event, which is contingent on us being able to finish team formations. So just be patient. But we'll give you, if we get you rosters late, we will push that date, but hopefully we'll be done by next week.
Okay. So yeah, in the event that we have a delay, we'll push that date out a few days there. Okay, rescheduling is rare. Obviously, rainouts, if there's a school conflict, things like that, we can meet those goals. Forfeits will happen if you are under the minimum players. So if you're U6 or under, it's 2, U8 under is 3, U10 and under is 5, and then you can see the other numbers there. There is a game swap procedure. You can go onto the WYSA website under coaching resources and see how to schedule to request a game swap. And then, but if you do have a need to move a game, reschedule, whatever, make sure you get that to us greater than 1 week in advance of that game. Any requests within that 1 week will be denied. As well, on the coaches resourcing website, you can request to have a scrimmage. So we talked about scrimmages before. You are able to set up. We need to have that requested at least 1 week in advance, and you are limited to 2 scrimmages set up through WYSA per season. So you can go on, submit that form, and then you can get that scheduled scrimmage. Yes?
So for fall break, do you anticipate like there being no games on one of those weekends, just so we don't request a date that we would have off anyway?
You are about 5 slides ahead. But yes, we will address that. Yes, fall break does have one of the fall break weekends is blocked off, yes. Okay, all right. So getting into the game day. You're now a coach, you have your team, you've practiced a couple times, hopefully you know what you're doing, you're ready to go. We want to make sure before that game you are printing off your game match card. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. All coaches must be listed on the game match card and have the league provided ID available. So when you go to the coaches pickup, which will be here in a few weeks, you'll get your IDs. Your assistant coaches will get their IDs. Make sure that they have that visible when you're on the game field. If you're a home team, if you go onto your game match card, you can clearly see if you're the home team or not. The app will also have that information, so you can also double check if you're a home team. You want to provide that game ball. Obviously, the league provides a game ball, so you want to make sure just bring that ball. Starting fall 2025. Now, this is a big one. Go ahead and clap. Sorry, I should have given this a little bit more fanfare. We are now going to be paying the referees electronically. We have actually increased referee pay for the season, which is in line with some other leagues in the area. there was going to be a lot more $1 bills that you would have to bring is what it was going to come down to. But no, we are going to be paying the referees electronically, so you're no longer required to separate 10 envelopes of money to be able to pay your referees. I'm hoping we don't have any issues with that, but we will take care of that. You guys won't have to worry about that. Well, technology is always technology. Right. But we are actively working on that. So hopefully that's a big win for you guys, make it a little bit easier. In the event there's no referee, we want to make sure you're contacting a league representative or a head referee that's out there. Make sure you're reporting that. If you're a minors coach, you are allowed to still play your game. Each coach may ref a half. If it's majors, U9 and up, we're going to get that game rescheduled. We got to make sure we have our referees and assistant referees out there. Majors age group. So obviously every age group is going to have a match card. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But those majors teams, we need to make sure those game match cards post-game, we get a picture of those. So both coaches, we want you to take a picture. We will be telling referees, take the game match card, go to the coaches, have them take a picture. The referees are going to sign off on that. The score is going to be on that. But we want, within 72 hours of the conclusion of your game, go on the website. There is, on the coaching resources page, there is instructions. Here's how to upload the score. Here's how to upload the image of the game sheet. There's multiple ways to do it. So, but we did, it was funny, I actually had a problem a couple years ago where I was not able to do the instructions on the website to follow that method, and Caroline actually have tested that. So we actually know it works. We know we can do that. So if you do have any questions about that, any problems with that, please let us know. It is technically the home team's responsibility to be completing those tasks, to upload that image and post the score. As an away coach, go ahead and have the image available just in case, the other coach goes out of town, whatever, that kind of thing. We want the information on the website. We want to make sure those images are on the website. The away coach can upload. So one thing, and this is probably more a me thing than anything else. Home coaches have a little bit more responsibility. We schedule things as fairly as possible, so you want to make sure you're not going to be a home coach every single time. Home coaches have a little bit more responsibility. Bring a game ball. Make sure that you have the game match card. Upload that image. Away coaches can, but as a home coach, share that responsibility. Make sure you are completing those tasks. It makes things work a lot better. We're not chasing down game cards at the end of the season trying to figure out who's who. Yes?
What do you want us to do if, because I've had several games where the teams are shaking hands and that ref gets out of Dodge ASAP with the game card.
They're not supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to be coming to you.
I know.
So I would say in that on the website, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is a referee feedback that you can submit. And I think that's one thing we're going to try to get going a lot more. We want to get referee feedback. Hey, if your ref's the best game you've ever seen in your life, feedback, please let us know. As a league, as the board, we're going to put a lot more emphasis on keeping those things running as efficiently as possible. So in the event the referee does bolt, we want to address that. We will go back and talk to those referees. We'll have maybe even some referee mentors that can help out in those situations and stuff like that. But as a referee training device, that's going to be one thing. Referees, please go do this. There should not be a reason why the referee's got to bolt unless they got a birthday party they got to get to in 30 minutes. Hopefully they scheduled that correctly, right? Those kind of things. But yeah, we want the referees to be doing that. It's a 2-minute, it's a 1-minute thing. Take a picture, and then they keep up with that. So we can work on improving those situations. Game match cards. So I've talked a lot about these. Game match cards keep everything in line. They make sure that the referee knows who should be on the field, who shouldn't be on the field, keep up with all those numbers, everything like that. It keeps up with conduct, so there's ways for the referee to keep up with conduct. It keeps us informed of who's there. If the referee's not there, they're not going to sign the game sheet, right? That's potentially a problem that we could run into. The game match cards, while they are kind of a pain to print off and to remember, they keep everything in line. They keep us organized. They make sure that people are not there that shouldn't be there. We know who the coaches are. If a coach shows up with a badge, but they're not on the game sheet somehow, like that kind of stuff, We want to make sure everything's lined up the way it should be. So game match cards are extremely important. And as I said, on the website, on the coaches resources tab, you can get instructions on how to print those game sheets if you've never done that before, or if you've had trouble in the past. Mandatory playing time, 50% each half. We are a recreational league. We need to make sure everyone's out there having fun. We keep we keep the rosters at certain sizes to make sure everyone has the opportunity to play. We do want to make sure your kids are out there 50% of the game as much as possible. And that's why I go back to the assistant coach. The assistant coach can keep up with that. If you have a little bit of trouble keeping up with that, they can have a piece of paper and a phone in their hand keeping up with time. Minors teams. Now, this is going to be a little bit more of me than the league. We do want sidelines to be lined up correctly. In the past, there have been situations where sometimes parents are on the wrong side of the field, things like that. It's not that big of a deal. But when it comes to minors fields, we request that the home team sits on the Wylie High School side, 544 Woodbridge side of the field. We do request visitors sit on the opposite Highway 78 or Sandon or Hensley side of the field. It's much bigger on the majors side. If you were on a majors field, you're on the U9, 7-on-7, 9v9 fields. We are going to have those fields side by side. We do need the coaches to be in the middle. So if you're a coach and you've got a line of parents right behind you yelling and screaming, that's going to affect your coaching. So as a coach, please tell your parents, be on this side of the field, coaches in the middle on those fields. Some of the bigger fields, that obviously isn't as big of a problem. You can pick which side. But on those fields that are side by side, coaches in the middle, parents on the outside fields. And as a coach, please be respectful. If there's a game, if your game's running a little bit behind or whatever, if there's two coaches sitting there ready to go, even if you want to have a quick team meeting, go off, find a little green space, get out of the way a little bit. We want to make sure those games flow a little bit better. We want to make sure someone's not out there till 6 p.m. because you needed an extra few minutes with your team. Just be respectful of those other coaches that are trying to get their team set up. No one is allowed to sit or stand behind the goal or goal lines. I feel like this was a little bit of a problem that I saw last year. Parents, they go hang out behind the goals and stuff like that. Please remind your parents, hey, you can't stand over there. As league reps, as referees, we'll try to make sure those people move. We'll try to make sure people are aware. But yeah, we don't want anybody behind the goal. Yes.
Does that mean bleachers on the majors field are out of use because one of the bleachers is set up almost immediately behind the goal and directly behind the goal? Actually, two sets.
So
Those are directly behind the goal. You're fine.
Yeah. So on field, if I go back to here, so the bleachers are kind of in the middle of these two fields right here. This season, the U9, U10 fields, the 7v7 fields are going to be up here. The bleachers are technically in the middle, so it's not. I think the big thing is we don't want a parent right behind a goal, screaming at their kid or distracting a kid, things like that. I think there is a potential plan to actually remove the bleachers at some point in time. I don't really know how far along that is, but I don't even know if Scott knows that. I've heard rumors about that. Okay.
You're going to see referees sitting in that bleacher, so I would not sit there.
The referees like to hang out on the outside bleachers sometimes, so you don't even want to be over there anyway to hear all their stuff. So okay. Make sure there's something. Okay. Last piece, and this is something that as a board we're working on the plan for. The majors teams, we are going to work towards getting the field marshal process set back up. If you're unfamiliar with field marshals, we do request the home team get one of their parents to just be the field marshal on the parent side of the field during their games. We're going to have the buckets out there, the buckets for every field. The buckets are going to have a vest, a walkie-talkie, and instructions as far as the field marshal is concerned. Your goal as field marshal is not to police, not to go out and attack somebody. It's communication only. If something happens, if there's an incident, there's someone yelling a bit too much, there's someone using inappropriate language, there's someone demeaning someone, I'm going to make you run home, right? That kind of stuff. You can contact the league representative. We're going to work on policies as far as trying to get a board member on the field. So you'll have that communication system available. The league representative can come out there, handle the situation. In the event it's an escalation, call 911. Don't be afraid to do that. There was an incident last year, had nothing to do with WYSA, but there was an incident last year that was a 911 incident. A league rep wasn't going to be able to handle that situation. So in the event, that's going to be something. Now, one thing I do want to bring up as well real quickly, we'll do a door prize right after I say this. I'm going to be doing another video here in a couple weeks. We are going to be renaming the fields at Founders. If you've ever been out to Founders and you see that monolith that's right by the concession stand that has a park, you'll see a map of the fields on there. And the city has designated fields that they have out there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be renaming our fields based on those field names because right now, if you were playing on my field last year, my 7-on-7 field C, and there was a 911 call, you get, hey, someone's having an issue, they would be going to the softball fields because that's the city's field C. So we're going to be renaming those fields. So in the event there's an emergency, you will actually be saying, come to field whatever number, as opposed to field C and the city not knowing where to go. So that's something to keep up with. We'll, like I said, I'm going to put out a video, and we're going to be able to put out a map and things like that of those changes. But I want to make sure you're aware of that ahead of time so we can figure it out. Yes, so the nets will still have the letters. We're going to make it as clear as possible. We'll work on how we're going to do that. But it will be, you should not have any trouble not only finding your field, but also having your parents and grandparents and whoever find those fields. We're going to do our best to make those as clear as possible.
And another encouraging thing for the team app is we can attach folders and files, so you could have the field map right in the team app. That will help.
Okay, door prizes. Chase Barker. Right. And one more thing I'll say when it comes to the whole field marshal thing, this is part of our endeavor to just make the whole game day situation a better experience for everyone. This goes back to adding more volunteers as well. You know, there's definitely going to be more opportunities for us to have volunteers out there. If you want to help, if you can dedicate a few extra hours on Saturday to help us along, we're going to be working on how we want to get things working on the game day, but it can't just be the handful of us that have already volunteered our time to be on the board. So more volunteer hours. You know, if your job likes volunteer hours, then you can obviously use those. Obviously already coaching, so you're already volunteering, so you can just add a couple more to it. But yeah, we're looking for more volunteers there. We may have more opportunities for volunteers as things come up. The more people that, hey, if we have 20 people that say, hey, I want to do it, we're going to find 20 opportunities there for people to help us out. Okay, a couple more slides here, and then we're actually going to jump to some other people to talk about those topics so you can get me off the stage. Game day procedures. So this is more, you're already at the game, something's going on. Rain out procedures, you're going to monitor the website, Facebook, or GotSport app. We'll send those alerts as soon as we know what's going on. Lightning policy. There's a lightning sensor there by the volleyball courts. If the siren sounds, leave the field. Get out of there. There's going to be a second siren. At this time, and Scott, we need to follow up on this, the siren's not working. The city was not aware it wasn't working until a few weeks ago when I told them. They are going to go out and make sure that's working. There is a light on top. The light is working. I was there when there was lightning in the area. I saw it working when we had all the July storms. That's going to be a big point to make sure it's working by season start. We'll follow up with the city to make sure those things are happening. In the event there's lightning in the area and you see the light, you don't hear a sound, let us know, find a league rep, whatever, that kind of thing. If we're out there, we'll be monitoring those things. We'll keep up with whatever's going on. Technology is technology. It's not always going to work. But there is very clear instructions on the lightning post and at the concession stand of the lightning policy, what to do. So if you see lightning, you hear the siren, get out of there. We'll figure it out. We'll keep everybody updated. Hopefully we're not in situations where we have to wait 4 hours because storms won't go away. But we'll figure out, we'll try to do our best to figure out what to do in those situations. Respect the referees. Abuse will not be tolerated. We actually have some new rules we're going to be going over here in a few slides about referee abuse. If you want to abuse a referee, feel free. We're kicking you out. No. But there will be some new penalties that you need to be aware of. Okay? The referees are out there. While they're getting paid, they're not a volunteer, guys. They still are humans. They're still out there doing their best. They're not going to make the best call every single time. I had to be reminded last year, This is a rec league. You're not out there because, obviously there's standings, there's trophies, there's things like that. We're all human. This is still a recreational league. Be respectful of those referees. Coaches, you are responsible for your parents' conduct. If a parent wants to be vocal, abusive, whatever, as a coach, we ask you to try to take care of those situations. If escalations are needed, sorry, I did not update this. We do want you to email us, and we can try to provide extra resources. So I'll go ahead and say email me, WYSA.league, about those situations. And we will potentially work towards helping you out. We can potentially work towards asking those parents, would you like to no longer be in the league, things like that. We want to help you guys out, but as a coach, you are responsible. If there is an issue with a parent and the referee feels like they need to address it, the referee's not going to go to the parent. They're going to go to you. And you got to be the person to say, hey, I need you to calm down, go to the car, go wherever. Okay? So 2 things I want to make sure we're aware. Coaches, parents, spectators are not on the field unless the referee says come on the field if there's a serious injury, things like that. You can go take care of your kid. Young coaches, U4, U5 coaches, we do want to allow you the opportunity to go on the field during certain situations. If during game stoppages, if your guys don't really know what to do for a kick in or for a goal kick or a corner kick, you are allowed to go on the field, help those kids out, move them out places. You cannot go on the field during gameplay, and you cannot get in the way of the referee, obviously. This is a referee call, and you need to be respectful of their decisions. And we really want to only have you be able to do that during the first half of the season. Hopefully by mid-season, your kids kind of know a little bit more about where to go. So I know when I had the young kids, I wanted to go out there. There wasn't really a policy. The coaches kind of agreed on it, that kind of thing. We are allowing you go on the field, kind of put your kids where you want them to be. They're young, they're learning. We want to allow you the opportunity during the game day to actually have that instruction given. But we'll be monitoring that. If the referees provide feedback, hey, this coach was hanging out in the field the whole time, we'll let you know. And as well, this is only someone with a badge. No parents on the field, no whatever on the field. If you have a badge, you're allowed to do this. If you don't, go sit down.
Hey, Casey, can I elaborate on that?
Absolutely.
What that looks like to some of the young players.
Yep.
When you have a large male adult on the field, and if you're coaching and you're cheering on your team, and the kiddos on the other team don't know who you are, and you're literally yelling on the pitch, that other team, those kiddos on the other team are very intimidated by that. So I want adults to be mindful. You have these small U4, U5, U6 players. You have adult referee on the field, and you've got 2 coaches on the field, and you've got a lot of yelling going on the pitch. That can be very intimidating for a young player. So please be mindful of that. And the second thing is, for our young referees, you as an adult, they're taught to be respectful of adults, and you guys are screaming and yelling on the field. I know you're just cheering your players on, which is great. When you have all that activity going on the pitch, the game, it gets out of hand. So please be mindful of that. We want you to be able to help your players along, but keep that in mind. Just put that out there.
All right, important dates for the upcoming season. August 22nd is your tentative schedule release date. August 27th is coaches pickup. So ID badges, game balls, uniforms for the minors there. Wylie Cup will be the first weekend, the weekend after Labor Day, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. We'll talk about that more in a second. August 13th will be the season start. October 4th, picture day. Fall break. Games will be played the second weekend of fall break. So October 11th is your blackout date. There'll be no games that weekend. We'll pick back games on October 18th, the Saturday, the end of fall break. And then November 15th is the last day of the season. That is a rain-out date. Hopefully we don't have to use that date, but we know how seasons work. And if you were here for the spring, you know exactly how the season worked. All right. So, yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there talk about having no games either weekend of fall break?
No, and it gets really hard when you're looking at a season as a whole, and we're providing blackout dates and 2 weekends. So you're looking at possibly 3 Saturdays out of an 8-game season. So we're not able to do that. right now you are still able to use a blackout date if you want to for that second weekend.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, blackout dates cause a lot of problems for our scheduler. And the way the system does it, it's kind of automatic. So imagine how many of you there are, and everybody has a different Saturday, right? That for whatever reason they cannot coach. So you put that blackout date in. As the system starts running games, if this team can't play the second Saturday, and the team they're scheduled to play can't play that fourth Saturday, it keeps bumping that match. And that's when you end up with a lot of weeknight games because the system doesn't have anywhere to put it. So I would use your blackout dates only if you really need them or you know you're not going to have an assistant coach because it creates a lot of havoc. So last fall we had games both weekends. So we tried to expand out the season a little bit to allow one weekend off and a blackout date. I think that was kind of a compromise. It's just, it's really hard.
as well as other factor. I don't know what their fall breaks are.
Yeah, we try to look at interleague for our older teams, and sometimes it doesn't match up to be able to do it. Scheduling and planning season dates is not for the week.
Oh, I totally get that. I just,
And then also, right, the city has weekends in November that they black out for events and tournaments, and so we physically run out of days, and then the city then the Founders
yeah,
closes.
sure.
So
There's.
Oh yeah, I know.
And as well, I think one problem we ran into last fall was we tried to start the season early, and it was way too hot.
Oh.
And this summer is turning out to be just as hot. Although today's actually nice, but anyway, yeah. But
I think I'll just add to
yes.
that, and, definitely get your concern is that we do end up running into a lot of teams that end up forfeiting, as a result.
Right,
So
yeah.
I think the thing that we could do as a league and that you guys can help us as coaches is just make sure that people know right from the get-go, right? Maybe vacations haven't even been planned yet, and then they know from the start, right? But either way, as long as they know which weekend they may have a game, try to get the head count as early as possible. That way we can get the communications out. If it's a forfeit, it's a forfeit. If you're early enough and are able to coordinate a game swap, it's gonna be really tough on that weekend, I would imagine, to do a game swap. But yeah, the earlier the better.
As a league, we're gonna look at. I know last year you did a lot of weekday games. Is that more than working too, or still?
Well, I feel like the weekday games were almost a necessity because we lost so many weekends last year.
Yeah, the initial schedule really did not have that many weeknights. There's actually, a change that we intentionally made, but as a result of all the rain that we got, it forced us to do the weeknights.
We did try to build in an extra weekend to give the scheduler a little bit more leeway that the blackout dates maybe won't kill the schedule, but yeah.
It's yeah.
Games are blackout or rainouts. They're blackout date issues or rainouts.
For weeknight games, can they be made earlier? A lot of parents have been waiting last year because they were playing early.
Oh yeah.
We can let's take that back. It's yeah.
Our games never start before 6 p.m.
Sure, 6
Right.
is good. But
6
we have games like
Yeah.
because we're limited on builds. So if we have, it depends on how many games we have. It's also a referee issue. The way that we schedule reflects how our referee assigner assigns games because you can't.
I'll fix that.
Say you have 3 minor fields, right? And you might not see all those minor fields running that night because it's a referee assigning issue. So we can't start before 6.
Right. No. And
Class is coming up, folks.
right. And yeah.
Referee, come on. Let's go.
Hey, the referee pay just increased, guys. Get out there. No, yeah. Honestly, the more referees we have available, right, that's going to help us with those games in the event that we do have rainouts and reschedules and stuff like that.
So I have U13 and a U9.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you, in those age groups, expect to have a 7 or 7:30 start time sometimes during the week. And as teams get older, that's less of a consideration because they're going to get ready to go into junior high sports. So go ahead and get ready for
The
it.
older ones I'm not concerned about. It was more the younger.
The age, yeah. I would just prepare your parents that they could have a 7 or 7:30 start. They won't start later than that.
Yeah, no, we'll
But the feedback is consistent though, right? Like they're done by 7.
Right.
And so,
No,
like,
I think we're going to do as much as we can to be as fair as possible and to be conscious of those issues with the young kids. Even U9, those are still third graders basically. They're still in elementary school here in Wylie, so we get that. I'm fully aware of those early elementary school start times. So, yes.
If you had a choice between having a blackout date and that could affect those weeknights, would you give up your blackout date?
yeah.
Because that's a possibility. If we take away blackout dates, then that limits the takeaway of Saturdays and weeknight games. So if that's something that the majority of the coaches are on board with, that's something
I
that.
think for consistency, bigger picture, this is better.
Sure. Okay.
Our scheduler would love it.
That's a good poll question.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
To put that out there, and I will say, just I know we're kind of drilling into that point, but the younger teams, the U4s, 5s, 6s, the scheduler conscientiously, built in that they're going to get the earlier slots. You're not going to see those teams with the 7:30 starts. So.
I have a U5 team, and I have a lot of players that are really struggling to get on the field, and almost all my games were at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's their nap time, so it's like really difficult for me to even get them to get out on the field. And so I really would appreciate it if you guys could have our games a little bit earlier, because otherwise it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, I'll get with the scheduler. I know it seemed like last season, I can't remember why, but there was a shift.
If anything, we can spread out. This week is this time, and just be a little bit more spread out on the game times. That'd be the only option I would think. Okay. All right. So obviously, in the spring, we tried really hard to get the Wylie Cup up and running. The weather decided to work against us. The whole weekend was a washout. So here we go again. We have already scheduled, and so we're beginning the setup for the Wylie Cup to be the first weekend of September after Labor Day, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. All age groups are encouraged to participate. If you are a WYSA team, you're automatically registered, but your attendance is not required, not mandatory. If you would like to opt out, please email me at wylie.league@wysoccer.com. We're asking to have those emails by August 18th. Yeah, August 18th, if you could let us know. Oh, great point. Okay, so for the U7 and under teams, for the minors teams, we are going to include those guys out there. This is that will be their first game of the season. So we actually asked for those teams, don't opt out of that. Don't opt out. It will literally be the first game of your season. You'll be getting one game as a minors league, and then those players will all be receiving a medal. We are really trying as a group here to make this an exciting experience. Quickfoot is actually the organization that's running the tournament, so we're working with them. We're going to do our best to have an exciting experience out there to really, have fun, laugh, cheer on the kids, things like that. So look for more things that are going to be showing up once you go out there for the cup. But for those age groups, we do want you to be out there. That is going to be your first one of your season games that we have. U8 and above. So we do have the U8 minors group. We are going to still be doing the pool play for them. We had a lot of feedback last season about, hey, these kids would still like to participate in more of a, not just one game, but actually more of a tournament style. So U8 and above, depending on the number of teams that register in each age group, you'll be playing 2 to 3 games. One of those games will serve as a regular season game. So I guess opting out doesn't work anywhere across the board.
For minors,
Okay, so and then potentially a championship game and trophies will be awarded to first and second place teams for those age groups.
One thing I will say, so we tried to do this in the spring. At the end of the season, we ran into rain and issues and ended up having to cancel it. We're really excited to bring this back. I mean, in the past, years and years ago when we had it, I think it brought just a lot of energy to the league. It's fun for the kids. It just brings up another opportunity to compete, right, with besides just your regular standings. One piece of feedback that we did get was that people were concerned that there was multiple games in a day. It's just the reality of a tournament, right? You are going to have multiple games in a day. We're going to work with the scheduler. In this case, it's not our normal scheduler. They schedule quick foot tournaments, which are like 3v3. They're intended to be shorter duration, but like back-to-back games. So the model that they have ends up slotting games, honestly, close to back-to-back. So prepare yourselves, prepare your team as much as possible. I mean, it's a challenge because this is right at the beginning of the season. So as much as possible, once you get the roster, get into conditioning quickly with the kids, right? Make sure that they're equipped, ready to roll as we jump into this. And we'll do our best with the scheduler to try to reinforce as much as possible gaps, but just know it may not be entirely feasible.
Question about those of us that coach multiple teams. As a schedule, we're going to try to take that into account so we're not having a game at the same time.
Yeah, so what age groups do you coach?
U13 and U10.
Okay, so some of it will depend on the number of teams we have in an age group. So U13, right? So that's going to be. We will work with Sandra to make sure that there's some type of look at the scheduling complex. Her eyes won't be the only one on it. The assigner will, Casey will, and probably a couple of others. So once she releases schedules, she's really good. I don't know if y'all saw how many times the schedule changed for the Wylie Cup in spring. So just be prepared that final schedule probably isn't going to be final until a couple of days before, because those changes she's making are at our request. And some of it probably was coaches' conflicts, or one of the interleague teams decided to enter late, but we will definitely try to work with that.
Yes.
I heard you say these matches are different than normal. They're not the regular.
No. So normally, Quickfoot normally puts on 3v3 tournaments, but this will be normal. I mean, yeah. So every age group will still be playing their normal. So the U7, they'll be 3v3. U8 will be 4v4. So you'll play your normal league rules.
Okay, they were modified.
They're modified.
So it was like instead of 25, it was like instead of
Oh yeah. So yeah, the timing. So there are absolutely differences. We will put out more information on what those differences are. So yeah, I think the halves are a little bit shorter and things like that. So there are small changes, but it won't be like a 3v. Your 11-year-olds are not going to be playing 3v3. You're going to have the regular fields and the regular sizes and stuff like that.
Yeah, since those games are, if you got a bunch of games on the weekend, you're not going to be expecting those players to play a whole entire regular.
Well, that's what I was worried about. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Right.
Tournaments are really, a lot of times they're shortened time frame for the halves.
Okay. So before we get into the heavy stuff about referees and coaches' conduct, let's do another door prize real quick. Right? One by one. Chad Tolentino. And Jamie King. So the next few slides are going to be some updates that we have and some important referee information and coaches' conduct information. So if you were here for the spring, this is a new policy that's actually come out regarding protecting the referees. There's a video at ussoccer.com that you can review some of these new rules. The next couple slides, however, are going to go a little bit further into the new information as far as referees go. So I'm going to ask Christine to come talk about her referees real quick.
We kind of already talked about a lot of the items that I have on my slide, but I just want to thank you coaches, assistant coaches, and everybody that's here. I've been in your shoes. I had two boys that went through WYSA. One is now 24 years old in the Navy, and the other one's 19 and goes to school here. So I remember the days where you're going to pick up other people's kids and you're having to drag game balls and you're having to get the game sheets and doing all the things. So I just want to say thank you for doing that for these kiddos. So I appreciate you guys. So just a couple of friendly reminders, and we kind of already talked about this. So majors and minors, and this is my understanding, both coaches need to bring your game sheets. And numbers do need to be on those game sheets. When a referee comes and checks in your team, they're looking at their name on the roster and their number. Okay, we've been asked by WYSA to make sure that your players are on the roster, so that's how we're able to do that. But before we check in your players, we're checking you in. So that referee is looking for your badge, and they're comparing your badge to what's on their roster. If your coach or your assistant coach is not on the roster, we cannot allow you to be on the side where the players are. That's safe sport. We can't allow them on the side. So a lot of times I've had a couple of games where they said, you know, they didn't get their ID badge or anything like that. Again, if you're on the roster and you don't have a badge, I'm going to, you know, turn to Caroline and make sure this is okay. If you have your driver's license or something that identifies you, sometimes the referees can make that a exception.
So it would be, the name has to be on the match card. They have to have their risk management card printed out. They can get to that through GotSport and their driver's license.
Okay.
So it has to be the 3, but that's not a whole season thing. So
Right.
if
That should be just the beginning of the
had an
season.
issue with the badge printer before, so it shouldn't be an issue. So if badges are being issued and there's not any problems, there's no reason your coach should be using that method more than 2 weeks into the season.
Okay.
And if you already know who your assistant coaches are, they should register, complete everything. So when you submit the ad form this season, as soon as I'm at it, I add everybody, and then I go through and do a mass ID production. So if they're doing stuff now and they're cleared, when we do coaches pickup, they should have their ID badge too. So be proactive about it.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's happened.
the first 2 games only, on the match card, risk management card, and driver's license.
Yep. Okay, perfect. And then I think when you go into and you guys have to let me know because I'm not a coach, when you go into GotSport, you have to physically add in your numbers on your team.
Yeah, there's a.
So if you show up to a game and they're all blank, they need to be printed off on the sheet. Because that happens, I'm just reiterating as a referee, this is what's happened in the past.
So the system locks us out at a certain point
It does.
early in the year, sometimes before we get numbers. And I've already made a note, like there's got to be a way.
So you have to communicate, right? If I've already locked the rosters and you didn't have a chance to put numbers in, you've got to reach out to me because I'm the only way you're going to be able to get access to that roster. And then you and I will work out if you're giving me numbers and I'm doing it, or I'm unlocking the roster for an hour and then locking it back. But yeah, there's no reason, and there's never a written name, right,
So-
on your match card.
For the minors uniforms this season, are we going to be doing the standard numbers like we've done in the past, or the players can pick their numbers?
No.
Okay,
No.
so as a minors coach, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on the number of players. As majors, if you're ordering uniforms, you need a number ahead of time. Hey, tell me what your number is. So you don't have to have those uniforms with you to go ahead and put that data in the website. You should already have those uniform numbers even before you have those uniforms. So you can go ahead and put them.
Yeah, so in the past, a couple of times there's been a coach shows up without their roster. And luckily for them, the couple of games that I've done, the other coach had a copy of the roster. So I'm reiterating again, you need to make sure that you're prepared. And I hate to say it, coaches, but sometimes you have to be prepared for the other coach. That's all I'm saying. It's really sad when a referee says, I cannot conduct this match because I don't have a game sheet. Please don't, let's I'm probably speaking to the choir because you guys are here, but I just want you to be mindful of that there's been some really prepared coaches and that saved that gameplay. Okay, that's not the responsibility of the referee if you show up without a game sheet. That's the coach's responsibility. And then the other thing too for referees is remember our referees, some of the young ones, this is probably their first job ever. You're able to start refereeing at 13. So I want you to remember yourself at 13. So these referees have gone through hours of online training. They've had to show up to the field and they've had to go through the process of learning how to be a referee, learning how to signal, learning how to blow their whistles, all those things. This is their first job. They're super excited. They got their uniform. and they get to the field and they get trashed by coaches. And they're learning just like your players. I would never, ever, ever, ever talk to one of the players like I've heard some of the referees be talked to that are the same age as your kiddos. It's very disheartening when I come to a field and I see a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid crying on the sideline because of the verbiage coming from some of the coaches. So let's be mindful of that. And any help that you guys can provide and support to that referee, I would appreciate it. So I'm just going to put that out there. These are our kids too. Okay, a lot of our kiddos officiate. Mine officiated. We've got a couple of our referee mentors, their kiddos officiate. So be very mindful of that. So if there is an issue, if you feel like that there's some training that needs to be done, I've got several referee mentors that are out there on the fields and going and assessing these referees. Please, please, please do not coach those referees. Okay, that's up to our referee mentors to do that. You're able to send me an email. This is my email address here. And I respond to those pretty readily. Please just give me that, make sure that I have the game, the date, your name, your team's name. I cannot get on GotSport. I can get on our referee assigning page and I can look up who those referees are and send that email to our mentors to come out and mentor those referees, but you have got to provide me the information. Don't send me an email and say your referee sucked. That's not beneficial feedback. Please let me know the laws of the game that were missed, and please let me know, without emotion, just let me know exactly what happened, okay? And a lot of times, what occurs on the field, most of the time that might be the discretion of the referee, right? So you might call it a certain way, and then you're expecting that referee to call it that way. So remember that there's an opportunity for your team to move forward and they've been fouled. Usually they're going to let that opportunity play forward and see if anything comes to that. So they're letting the ball play through to give your team the opportunity to have an advancement. They don't want to stop play if your team has the opportunity to score or to get the ball up the field. So just be mindful of that. And so what I've told my referees to do at the end of the play, so you guys are having your teams come on and they're shaking hands and all the things. So they're over there filling in the match, whatever that ended up being at the end of the match. This is for majors. They're signing the game sheet and they're putting on, any disciplinary actions or whatever. They're supposed to come to you after they're completed and go, Coach A, here's your game sheet, take a picture of it, but you need to sign it first. So I'm asking them to get both coaches to sign both game sheets. Okay, so the coach that's the visiting coach is signing the home team coach's roster. So both coaches are signing both rosters. Okay, once that roster is signed, you can take a picture of your own roster for your records. So again, home team is supposed to be turning in to get to their roster to GotSport. I would suggest that both you guys do it. So we've got checks and balances. You've got visiting team, you've got the home team, and then my referees are supposed to be entering that into Arbiter. So the checks and balances. So that's the procedure that's supposed to occur at the end of the game. And again, if you run into a point where a referee is taken off or going and do something else, I need to know that so that I can mentor that referee or my team can do that. And then I ask this of my referees. When we have a referee meeting, almost every single one of the games that are played at Founders have modified rules. So you have the laws of the game, then you have rules that are modified by North Texas, and then you have modified rules in Wylie. So whatever age group you're coaching, make sure you're mindful of what those modified rules are. So whatever you guys played in high school and college, that's not going to be what's applicable to these games here at WYSA. They're going to be modified. So make sure you're mindful of that. Yes, sir?
Cases where the referees are unaware of the modified rules, the mechanism is emailing and letting you know.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, please don't try to coach that referee in the middle of the game, just let me know. We'll go out there and assess that referee. Okay. Oh, and then, yes, sir.
Where do I go to read then about modified rules?
They're all on the Wylie website for your age group.
The WYSA
Yes.
website?
So on that new GotSport app,
Mhm.
there will be, it'll take a little bit to build out, but there
Okay.
will be a tab.
Cool.
There's already going to be. We've already started loading some of the documents for WYSA on the GotSport app. So if you were to go in there today, you can see some of them. Here in a little bit, I also have some of the extra slides to show you where to go and whatnot. All the rules, all the documents, it's all on the website. Like I said, I'll show you some of those items here in just a little bit.
Yep. Okay, great. The app will be helpful. And then also on your jerseys, we've run into this a couple times. We just talked about it. So I've asked our referees to start off with the yellow, the bright yellow, and then their alternate is green. So if the majors, if they can kind of stay away from those two colors, that would be very helpful. If not, that's fine. They can change. You can usually tell the difference between a U9, U10, and a referee, but just be mindful of that. And if you do have conflicting colors, it's your responsibility as a coach to bring pennies so that the referee can discriminate or be able to tell between the two teams. So again, that is your responsibility. A couple times I've had to pull some stuff from the shed because, I'm just being nice. But make sure that you have that available. That does become a problem. Oh, and the other really important thing, and you can do this very discreetly, if you do have a player that has a medical condition that the referee needs to be aware of, please let them know. If you have a player that's got asthma and they need to run to the sideline and get a quick hit of their inhaler, just let the referee know. Because again, subbing in and off the field is always done at the referee's discretion. But if there's a medical condition, please make sure that referee is aware and they know that that player might be off the field to get, whatever they need medically. Okay, just discreetly let them know that. Yeah, and I know they're really, really long, but I would read through WYSA's bylaws when you get a chance, especially the areas of coach's responsibility. It's big eye-opening about what's responsible, who's responsible, and who's responsible for what, and that kind of thing. So my contact information is there, and we do have our referee mentors listed here. So we do have one, Jason Coker's in the back, and Mike Emmerich, who is a past president. I think Mike's, is he signing the fields as well, or is he still doing that? He's a scheduler, okay. So Mike Emmerich, Jeff Murray, who just stepped down as our assigner. He's still going to be an advocate for our referees. He's actually a state certified trainer, and he's a state certified assessor. So he can come out and assess the referees, and they get a ranking so they can be able to move up to higher levels in officiating. So we're really grateful to have him. Brian Turquette is new. He used to be one of our mentors, but he's coming back. His son is actually becoming a referee for WYSA, brand new, so he wanted to come and plug back in. And then Todd, did I not list Todd on there? Todd Wielden's actually another one of our referee mentors. I forgot to put him on there, but he's the same as Jeff. He is a referee mentor, a state instructor, and referee mentor. So, and then our newest member, our newer signer, is John O'Kane. So he's going to be taking the place of Jeff Murray. So in the event that you don't have a referee and you come out to the field and you don't have a referee, please get a hold of one of us quickly so that we can let John know. If it's a majors, we're going to have to pull a minor referee from that game and get them to the majors game, and then try to backfill that minors game. So please let a board member know immediately if you don't have a referee on your field so we can get that taken care of quickly. Any questions, concerns? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine, for that. So yeah, real quick, I know we're conscious of your time. I know it's run long. I've never been one to be able to keep all the timelines correctly. So real quick, we'll do a couple more door prizes. We have just a few more slides. We'll try to be done here in hopefully the next 15 minutes. If you need to go, obviously you can go. We are recording this, so hopefully I'll be able to get this onto some YouTube or something, so we can be able to you be able to see if there's any information you missed. Okay, all right, real quick, door prizes up. Brian Jones. And Courtney Witcher. All right, so the next up is going to be someone that you probably don't want to see during the season unless he's on the field refereeing your games, or you can shake hands with him on the fields. Otherwise, he is the VP of Appeals and Discipline. So if there are any issues, you will be hearing from Scott this season. Hopefully not. But Scott does need to go over some of the brand new rules as far as North Texas goes, as far as some penalties that could happen. So here we go, Scott.
All right. Hey, everybody. So hopefully in this capacity, I never have to talk to you or deal with you as long as I'm doing this. But essentially, appeals and discipline, this is when somebody files a report, a complaint, there's been an issue at the field. That's when it comes to us, and we kind of talk through it a little bit. And there's a formal process for hearings. One of the big takeaways I want you to take about this isn't something, hey, Wylie, we've created this. It's us. This is North Texas, and this is U.S. Soccer. They have a set of guidelines where they've said this is how the game needs to be. Those of you who have been doing this a while understand there's a lot of referee abuse. Somewhere in our culture, it's become okay to yell and complain and talk about every single thing on the field, right? Everybody's an expert. In fact, I'm going to challenge some of you as coaches, because I did this when I started coaching. And I've been either a player or a coach for 45 years of my life. And 4 years ago, I said, well, I'm getting older. I need something to do, so I'm going to referee. I know the rules. I'm good. I'm going to referee. And Jason will tell you, I got to know him. And it's not until you get out there and you think, oh my gosh, what am I doing out here? Because your eyeballs are different. As a coach, you're looking for something. As a player, you're looking for something. As a referee, you're looking for something completely different. And when all of a sudden, all eyes are on you the entire time, everything changes. So with that in mind, get out there and referee. I'm telling you, it changes how you behave on the field. I'm a much nicer coach than I was before I started refereeing and realized how hard it was. But there's an order to it. And what's happened in a lot of cases, right, you have the young refs. We're a recreational organization. Our job is to bring referees in, grow them, build them, because we desperately need officials at every levels. They come in and then we yell at them and treat them like garbage, and they go home and they say, I never want to do this again. And so then we lose referees. Anyway, so this is the background of why this was put in. And this started in the springtime, but this is a U.S. Soccer issue. And so I know it's really hard to read, but what U.S. Soccer has said is abuse not only will not be tolerated, but there are minimum hard lines in the sand of what they are. And so, for example, I'm just going to use the yellow, right? This is the beginning. There was an example that was given where a coach went over to the referee and said, that's either a goal or you're blind. Which is it? Well, needless to say, that's a minimum 2-game suspension. But now here's where it gets interesting. Hopefully you know this, but a lot of you probably don't. If that referee is a minor, if they are under the age of 18, everything now is triple. So a 2-game suspension automatically becomes a 6-game suspension, okay? And so if there is an abuse, if there's an issue, they will come to the Appeals and Discipline Committee, and we will have an impartial committee that reviews that situation and goes forward. If it's a minor, it immediately goes above Wylie. It immediately goes to North Texas Soccer, and they are the ones that hear the appeals and discipline process. So again, this is not what we're doing. This is above us. And so I implore you, I beg you, I ask of you, be nice. I know, I know sometimes it's so frustrating. It's like, oh, I know the rules and you're calling them wrong. Be grumpy, be frustrated to yourself, leave it within yourself. After the game, that's when maybe you reach out to one of us and say, hey, what is the rule? I'm pretty sure it's this, but this is what was called, and I don't think it was correct. Deal with that after the game. One other piece that I'm going to ask of you is any feedback, good or bad, especially bad feedback. I want you to wait 24 hours. Let it roll in your brain. Wait 24 hours, then let it come out of your mouth. Let it come out of your fingertips with requests, frustrations, anger. Give it 24 hours, right? Because in the moment, you're like, oh, I hate this so bad. I'm going to just scream and scream and scream and mash the keyboard. And then you think about it and you're like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, right? Give it some time. But there are 4 categories. If you have a situation, and just so you know the difference between non-physical and physical, if you get mad and you throw a water bottle and it doesn't hit anybody, that's a non-physical. That's immediately a 10-game minimum suspension. If it hits somebody, now you're looking at a 12-month lifetime ban immediately. So just stuff like that, okay? Just be smart, be careful, be nice. We're here to take the frustrations, not the referees. I beg you, because we are lucky. I don't think some of you realize how lucky we are, WYSA, with our referee program and the referees we have. I talked to a number of coaches and other associations, and they're like, we can't even fill games. We are minors. We have parents doing coaches because we don't have enough, right? So, please. And one more thing. If somebody does a great job, not only let them know, but let us know so that we can congratulate you, right? Because we all know this. You can have 7 great games and you have 1 bad game and you think, I don't want to do this anymore. This stinks. But they don't know they don't know that they're doing good. So anyways, that's my speech on that. I hope to never see you in this regard ever. But if you do, if there's a problem, reach out to us and we will go from there. That's all I need to talk about.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry. So obviously this applies to coaches, but I heard earlier coaches are responsible for parents.
Yes. Yes. So thank you so much. Right. So the way it reacts, and this is actually a great point. So if a parent is the problem, as a referee, we are not going to yellow card a parent. We're not going to throw out the parent. We are going to go to the coach and say, listen, this is not tolerated. You need to tell your parent to be quiet or leave. And if they don't stop, right, it's our coach's responsibility to throw the parent out. If we as a coach, we do not handle that, then this starts falling back on us. Okay? So, and those that have been here a lot longer than I have scenarios and situations where we will ask parents, you're not allowed here. You're not allowed here. Under no circumstances, go away. So yes, parents will fall into this category. It does fall back on coaches though, as much as it stinks.
Yeah, so
Please talk to your parents.
if we do what we're supposed to be doing, we have field marshals out there. The field marshal can go get a board member, and the board member can ask that person to leave. If the person does not leave, then that's when we have to ask the Wylie PD to come out and help us. I have had to call the Wylie PD out with a very angry coach. Okay, I hated to do that, but we had to handle that, and the Wylie PD came out and assisted.
And if you notice several board members kind of standing behind your sidelines on a regular basis, might be an indication there's an issue. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make something clear. So you're saying that a referee cannot kick out a parent? Because I see the referees kick out many parents.
No. So what the way? Well, that's.
Yeah, referees are not supposed to be addressing the parents. Referees are supposed to go talk to the coaches and ask the coaches to remove their fan.
And I'm a ref as well, so I know the rule, but I'm just stating that there's that very rarely have I seen a coach kick a parent off. It's always been the ref.
Right.
Instead of turning around and hey, coach, I'm just doing this. What do you think?
Well, then, if that's the case, then you need to let us know so that we can address that. If that's happening at Founders and if you don't say anything, we don't know and we can't address it.
And it's a safety issue. Every one of you here is not only volunteering, but you're going through the process to, to do that. And we're not going to talk about it so much today, but there's a lot of cool stuff we've got cooking that we're going to do to help you make even better coaches. But those parents, I mean, that becomes a safety issue because we all know, we all have those parents, where, hey, we have a lot of parents that are nice. And then there's that one parent where you say the wrong thing to them and there's this situation. So yeah, you're supposed to talk to the coach, let the coach know, hey, I'm done with them. They need to go away. And then if the coach says, I'm not doing it, you're doing it, then that's when the referee is supposed to caution and then send off the coach.
I rarely see it done that way. That's why that's why I say that. So that's how I would love it. I mean, I'm gonna have two of my kids out the ref as well.
Yeah.
So
As part of the referee training, we're going to make sure referees don't talk to parents, talk to the coach. We want to filter that direction. There's been lots of stuff that's happened in the past. This board is dedicated to what we're saying today and what we're trying to have going forward. Is it always going to be the way that we want it to be? No. We need that feedback. We need to make sure we know when things happen that shouldn't be happening, that are going against what we're saying today. So things have always happened. I've gotten mad at refs. It happens. But this is the policy as far as North Texas and U.S. Soccer is concerned. This is not just a Wylie policy, so you need to be conscious of that. But what we're saying today is what we would like to see happen. If it doesn't happen that way, let us know. We're going to try to be out there on the fields to assist in these situations where things are not happening the way we want them to. We're going to try to do our best going forward to make sure these things happen the right way. And that's how we're presenting a better product to you guys as coaches, to the city as a soccer league and things like that.
And thank you for sharing. Right, we don't get better unless we have these conversations. So thank you. Real quick, and then go ahead.
Any of you coaches have a meeting at the beginning of the season, so let the parents know what's going on that we have to go through, the coaches have to go through. But they're gonna have to take over. You get moved. They're gonna have to take over.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because every one of you in your coaches meeting, that's why you have a required meeting, is there is a code of conduct and your parents have to follow that and let them know, hey, if you're a fool, I'm the one that gets in trouble. Please don't. Right. So thank you.
All right. Real quick, Jonathan Dove. There we go. Congrats something real quick. Caleb Fisher. And then Caroline wants to clarify something real quick on GotSport.
On the GotSport app, you don't have access to it right now. So if you try to download it and log in, it's going to try to charge you $99. So there are some housekeeping things that we have to do in order to get GotSport app working. And part of that is we have to complete team formations and register your teams with the app. Once that is done, and we're going to try really hard to launch the app when we release the rosters, and you'll know. So there's going to be some housekeeping emails that come out this week for your parents. Their accounts have to be set up correctly in order for them to have access to it. It'll be good for you to check your accounts as well, to be on the lookout for that. But if you download the team app now, it's not going to have anything in it, and do not pay for it. Yes, sir.
I was already using it last year. Should I continue or do I need to?
I'm going to register your team again, so it should not auto charge you again if you have it set up as a subscription. You can just go in and unsubscribe to it, depending on who you pay for it. It's a year subscription. You didn't pay for it?
Did you? How were you using it before?
So you log in, you can see.
Well, like as part of the league, because
Yeah. I saw both names on there, and I see
the schedule and everything. I had the ability to also.
And you didn't pay.
No.
Okay. News to us, unfortunately.
And it shouldn't work like that. That might, I know they're going through and doing a lot of cleanup, but it won't, you'll just get re-enrolled for this season.
Yeah. So once your information is available to the app, then you'll be able to log into the app and see all your information for your teams and everything. So and that's probably because it's attached to GotSport, and so as your information's pulled away from GotSport, your teams are like as we get into the season, we start reattaching everything. As GotSport is updated, the app will be updated, and so as a league, we are now supporting using the app and making sure the app is running. So it won't just be you having found it on your own. The league is now going to be utilizing it, putting out news, things like that. That's going to be the goal of utilizing the app. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to get through the next few slides real quickly to get you out of here soon. So reminders and policies. This is a game. No one's trying out for the MLS today. No one's trying out for FC Dallas today. This is a game. This is a rec league. These are kids. Refs are humans. Give praise. Show respect. The city has a no pets policy at Founders. Don't bring your pets. They're cute. Put them on Facebook. That's as far as you need to go. No smoking. If you cannot adhere to these policies, we as a league will be asking you to leave the park. Please be respectful. Please remember why you're out there. We're doing this for the kids. Let's have some fun out there. We want to make sure we're following lines, but if we have to push you out, we're going to ask you to leave the park. Okay. Some key resources. So we've talked about the website several times. There's some QR codes to go onto the website, coaching resources, coaches code of conduct, parents code of conduct. If your parents have questions and you go to your team meeting, they don't know what to do. Parents code of conduct, there's 11 points on there. Read those, memorize them. That's what you should do as a parent. If you need help, refer your parents to that. Coaches code of conduct, coaching resources, all that's on there. There's very helpful links on there to see. In addition, if you go onto the North Texas Soccer website, there's a coaching resources tab there too. They have lesson plans, they have drills, they have lots of information, they have age-specific plans and whatnot that you can look at to help out. In addition, they host bi-weekly coaching seminars. You can go on their website, you can log into those online, you can listen to other coaches around the state. You can hear questions, hear ideas, ask your questions, whatever. I think those start on July 31st. You can go on the website to get more information from that. In addition, we as a league are working towards getting a coaching seminar set up in the month of August. We don't have all the details worked out yet. We're trying to get those things solved, but look for more information about that. There'll be something that Founders will use. Coaches can come out, hear more information, hear from our director of coaching and from other coaching resources that we're going to try to gather. Okay? This last slide is something that I want to make sure you're aware of. It does not impact the next two seasons. You probably are already aware of it. What I want to do is put the bug in your ear because this is something that's going to impact us in a big way in the coming year. U.S. Youth Soccer, U.S. Soccer has made a change for age divisions for fall 2026. So this fall, this spring is not impacted. However, starting next fall, instead of the age gaps being from January to December 31st, it's now going to be August 1st to July 31st, meaning your August, September, October, November, December babies. They're going to be in a different age group. As a league, we're going to do everything we can to try to keep teams together, but follow the rules. So there's going to be a lot of information coming out. We don't even have a lot of information yet. It's something that we haven't heard a lot of stuff from as far as North Texas Soccer. So this is for your awareness. As we enter the fall season in a year, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of decisions, a lot of parent interactions. We're going to have to figure all that out. So again, don't worry about it now. Hopefully when we have the spring coaches meeting, we'll have more information to send your direction. But as you're looking at your rosters and you see some of those ages and some of those birthdays later in the year, we're going to have to figure that out. So just be aware of that. We'll get you more information as it comes, but I want to make sure you're aware of that. We've obviously had a lot of questions and answers. Hopefully there's more questions. So real quick, we'll do another door prize real quick and then bring more questions. Yes. Richard.
I know you said you're going to be looking at questions and addressing the thing about the team formation and everything. Is that going to apply to exist? Like a question to think about, is that going to apply to existing teams, or is that going to apply to teams that are being formed in the future?
Every team. So starting in next year, as far as what you're considered U10, U9, U7, whatever, that designation changes. The definition of that age group changes to the August 1st to July 31st age group. So your November 2017 kid right now who's 8, they're going to stay. So they're going to go from, I think, U10 to U10. We don't have all those details yet, but it will apply to every single team across the board. And this is US. This is not, just North Texas. This isn't the whole country. Everyone's dealing with this, but it will apply to all teams.
Will it still let you play up?
We don't know yet. So that's the problem we have right now. Is this was released on June 10th. When we went to the North Texas Soccer Conference 2 weeks ago, they didn't address it at all. So North Texas really hasn't started putting that information yet. So we'll have to figure that out. Hopefully in the spring, when we have the spring coaches meeting, we'll have a lot more information. Maybe we'll just do a special session about that. Again, it's awareness more than anything else right now. Christopher Ward. Thank you. Go and do another one. Curtis Baker. All right, so there we go. So yeah, hopefully, as we've said, we've gone over a lot of information today. I know we've taken 2 hours of your Saturday. I really appreciate you guys coming out. And I know, obviously, you get to have a practice now. You get to have a thorough practice. But this is the new board of WYSA. Some of these faces have been here for a while. Some of these faces have not been here for a while. We are really looking to do everything we can. As Scott mentioned before, we got a bunch of ideas and things we're working on to make this a great experience, to make sure you're aware. Expect to start seeing more signage out there as far as trying to communicate with the board and the league. We're looking for more volunteer opportunities. There's a lot of committees that we have that we're looking to build. We can't do all those jobs. So we're really just looking for situations where you can dedicate a few hours a month, that kind of thing. And so we're super excited. We hope you're super excited. I know I'm going to be out there coaching some teams. The rest of us are probably going to be out there doing that as well. So we'll see you. And then, the big thing, the board, our big goal is communication and presence. We want to make sure we're communicating to you. We want to be communicated with. We don't need all those emails to only go into Caroline. So there's other emails on there. If you go onto the website, you can see the board of directors. You can go directly to an email and send an email to any one of us. But we want to be there. We're going to try to be there on the fields, helping you guys out, answering the questions, directing things like that. But we want feedback. So hopefully we can do those things. Hopefully we can meet those demands. This is for the kids, and that's what we're after. We're trying to make sure this is as much as possible a great experience for our youth that are out there. Questions?
When you need volunteers, are you sending out an email for that, or what's?
So on the coach's sign, and there was a little box you can check.
Got that. I'm thinking like if there's parents or grandparents.
Oh,
who are
yes.
Not coaches.
So we will be doing a lot more interaction with like the Facebook page and stuff like that as far as making communications. We will definitely discuss that as far as what would be the best method to contact us.
And like situations, because like I didn't know that you guys need volunteers to like put nets up. Like the parents and things that they don't know what volunteer situations you're gonna need. So if they know
100%.
that.
So no, 100%. So
yeah.
Hopefully you guys saw my video.
Yeah.
That is an objective of mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Is to I'm not going to be the face of WYSA, but I'm going to be a face of WYSA, and I'm going to be out there making videos. I've got several other videos in the works. I even want to try to do some interviews and stuff like that with maybe our coaches or referees, things like that. So our objective is as much as possible. My objective is to get out there and publicize the whole, like putting up the nets and things like that. That's something we just talked about 2 days ago about what we want to do. We're going to absolutely be communicating that out. We'll make sure those messages are put out, whether it's video form or Facebook form or email form, whatever the case may be. As the app becomes available, we as a league, if you go onto the app right now, if you had access, you would see the coaches meeting as an event. We'll put events out there. We'll put things like out there. You can see if you can attend. If you enable notifications, that's going to pop up on your screen. You're going to be made aware of that. So we will absolutely be working on communication and sending out and making sure you guys are aware. Point back to the Facebook page, point back to the app, things like that. That's our goal, is to do as much as possible to communicate with you, because I don't want to be in a situation where in the spring, hey, this thing happened and I was looking for somebody and I couldn't figure out who to talk to. We don't want that. We want to be out there. We want to be able to be engaged with you guys, parents, coaches alike. Absolutely. That's our goal.
I think for the volunteer stuff, as tangible as you can make it would be really helpful, because like as a parent, I don't want to say like, yep, I can be a volunteer, and you're like, okay, signed you up for 80 things. Like,
no, and
I know you won't. I'm just saying, like,
right.
As much as you can like say we need X, Y, Z for volunteers, I think that's gonna help.
No, and I think one thing that was the goal of, hey, you checking the box saying, hey, I would like to volunteer, was for us to go back and assess and start sending out communications. Hey, we had this opportunity. Would you be interested in doing this? How much time can you dedicate? Things like that. We'll go back and give you back some feedback and things like that. We're not asking for the amount of time that we're all going to put into this. No, we're asking for just a little bit more help there on little things. Yes.
If you are a ready coach, as I am, so hopefully I'll try to one of those type of things. Is there, like, we contact you just for a ton of questions or anything like that, or do you
So resources are an initial way to go. Where did I go? Sorry. I'm on the wrong side. Okay, so coaching resources are an initial way to go. The NTS website, if you want to get our picture of that real quick, the North Texas Soccer website has a lot of resources. Director of Coaching, Don, he's going to be putting out information. He's going to have an email address. You can contact him. If you signed up for the coaches meeting, there was a box at the bottom that said, would you like your league representative to show up for your practice? We can be there. We're going to be doing as much as for all the coaches that have been here for years. I don't want to say we don't care, but you know us. We need the new coaches. We need them to stick around. We need to give them resources. We're going to help every single coach across the board. We're going to provide information, all the coaching resources we can give you, the coaches' clinics, or whatever. But we're going to be focused on getting those new coaches up to speed and make sure they're happy and make sure they're pleased that they're doing a good job for their teams. So it's like retaining customers, right? Retaining customers is a little easier, and new customers a little bit harder. No, I want to make sure we're doing as much as we can for everybody. That's what we're going to do. But the new coaches, if you click that box, when you schedule that time, we're going to make our best effort to be out there. As you see more information coming across, whether it be the app, Facebook, whatever, you can go on, you can find an email address, you can email any of us, you can send communication. We're going to do our best to address concerns, to help you out, to give you the resources you need. Yes?
When do you expect rosters?
The tentative date is August 22nd?
No, he said rosters.
Oh, rosters, sorry, schedule. Do we have a date yet? I'm so sorry.
So rosters are contingent on us being able to get volunteers. And the way we do team formations is we start with the babies and we work our way up. And a lot of that has to do with players that play up and special requests. It kind of is a snowball effect. So we have to do it methodically. If you know anybody who wants to coach a U7 team, I need a U7 coach, and I'm kind of stuck on going forward until I get that U7 coach. So we're in the background working on other age divisions, but it is really contingent on getting volunteer coaches. And we put it out there, so we want them out by the end of next week, right, realistically. There are things that are always working in the background once registration closes. We do, want to get them to you sooner than later. I promise I'm not just sitting on them so you can't contact your parents and arrange for uniforms. I will tell you one thing, because I had an email the other day. You cannot be holding a WYSA practice until you have your official roster. So if anybody is practicing, and you have a player that gets hurt, they are not covered under the the insurance through North Texas. So please keep that in mind. Yes, sir.
You might want to actually discuss that. You should discuss that.
I can't hear you.
You might want to actually talk about the insurance more. I was going to say, you didn't talk about that.
The player, and so
Yeah, for all the new coaches.
as part of the North Texas fees that we pay for your players, there is an insurance policy if they get hurt at a practice or a game. It's a supplement insurance, but there is coverage for that. I've only had a handful of players over the years that have used it. So if you have an injury at practice or a game, just shoot me an email and then I will give you the steps of what needs to happen. There's some stuff that you need from me and statements that have to be given. It's pretty easy. Have you had a player use it? So, but it does help if it were to be an ambulance ride or they have a deductible, that does help out.
So I was playing women's soccer a couple years ago and I dislocated my shoulder playing goalkeeper, and my primary insurance paid for most of it, and then that supplementary would help with some of the, I'd have surgery and all the things, so it doesn't pay for a whole heck of a lot, but it does help. So just be mindful of that, and there is a process. You have to have a game sheet, which is again why we need the game sheets from you guys, okay? And you need to be able to, usually there has to be referee signature and all the things. So that's why we ask for the rosters. That's why we have to keep track of these things. In case there is an injury, we're able to report it, and you guys can make sure you cover your players and yourself as your coach. So
Just, you want to ask if everybody knows where the AEDs is?
Oh, yes, sorry. So, earlier I brought up the new field designations. We're going to be changing the names of the fields. The biggest reason for that is 911. If you need to call 911, there's a medical emergency. The city tells 911 where their fields are. They know where to respond. There is an AED at Founders. It is in the concession stand. So in the event there's some type of cardiac event, you can, hopefully the field marshal, you want your field marshal, hey, we have an event over here, we need the AED immediately. We will have the gator running.
Yeah.
We'll have the card out there so we can get over the concession stand and get back to whatever field the emergency is on. But there is an AED inside the concession stand. It has to remain inside the concession stand to make sure it doesn't get damaged or lost or weathered or whatever. But that is where it is at the park in the concession stand.
But field marshals are only U9 and up.
So the field marshals will be U9 and up. The minors fields are pretty close together. And I'm thinking we're going to work this out. Generally, the league representative will be probably hanging out around the fields, the minors fields. And then in addition, that's also closest to the concession stands as well. So in the event of an alert, we can figure that out. But yeah, the field marshals are generally further away, and so those are on the other fields outside.
So I think in the past what we did, if you were on a minors field and something does happen, the field marshal at those majors fields, they're supposed to wear a bright yellow penny so that the people at the minors field can go, oh, there's a field marshal, they've got a walkie-talkie, you can run to them and say, hey, we got an issue, we need the AD, whatever the things are.
So yeah,
I don't know if that's how we're going to play it
No,
out
in the bucket will be an orange vest, like what you see the security guard across the guard to schools, an orange vest. So yeah, you as a coach, as a parent, you'll know that's my field marshal. It all depends on where you are, where that field marshal is, where the league representative is. We're going to be wearing the WYSA gear out there. So hopefully we don't have those events. If we do, we'll be addressing those as quickly as we can. And then obviously don't be, call 911 as well. Report where you are. Okay. Any other questions? Let's knock out 3 more door prizes real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Well, I got one more thing to add. If you guys are interested in becoming referees and you want to dive into that, either come talk to me or look on the referee tab. All of that's fresh and up to date. We do have a referee clinic that WYSA is, we're kind of being the home field for one of our clinics. It's on the 23rd, but you have to start your classes online now. You cannot wait until the night before and go, I'm going to go online and knock out these 8 hours. They've already pulled the rosters, they're already got the classes filled. There's no certain time limit. So if you're interested, please come and talk to me afterwards. We'd love to have you. Okay.
All right, Andrew Edwards. Marissa Doria. They left. Right.
There's so many names, it takes a long time to spend.
Mitch Gray. All right, we'll do one more after that. So yeah, so again, thank you very much for coming today. We're obviously really excited about the upcoming season. We're going to do our best. Please communicate with us. We'll be seeing more videos and stuff about the upcoming season. Like I said, we're going to try to get a coaches clinic going here pretty soon. We've got a referee clinic. And then that first weekend will be the WYSA Cup. And that'll be really exciting for all of our kids. Last one will be Jake Taylor. All right. And thank you very much for coming today, guys.